When it comes to rigid transformations, it just means that our form that we're shifting, our shape, doesn't get squished. So rigid transformations can change where a shape is or how the shape is oriented, meaning you can spin things. So we'll take a look at some examples here over to the side of orientation changes. So location, orientation can change, but two things won't change. That is the actual shape itself and the size of the shape. So you can't stretch it or shrink. You also can't, squish or mush around so it becomes a different shape. And there are three main varieties. Let's take a look at these three we're going to examine. The first is where you essentially keep things exactly the same and you just move it. So you move it to the side a little bit. I'm going to call that a move. Now, for this next one, I'm going to use this same arrow again. But this time, rather than just taking the exact same shape and moving it over, we're going to take the shape and flip it. So instead of having the check mark with the short end on the left, we're going to flip it so that the short end is on the right. So the orientation changed. It's now facing the other direction, but it's still the same shape and it's still the same size. This we're going to call a flip. And the third major type of thing you can do is a spin. So let's label that as such and see what it might look like. So imagine if we take this little check mark here and imagine a center point that we spin it around. What would happen is this little point at the top would get spun so it's up here, and we get a shape that looks kind of like this. So if you take this check mark shape, and if you spin it, what was at the bottom now comes at the top. So where the shape is has changed. Its orientation has changed. It's not pointed the same way anymore. But the shape is the same and the size is the same. So we're all good on that front. Those are your rigid transformations.